Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Rockaway Carter, and we are doing the first episode of the Deathwish Dinner Theater. See, I kept the fucking name for something. Nobody riot. And we are going to interview him about basically his life as an entertainer and fighting game enthusiast and commentator.
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Rockaway Carter. I hail from Brooklyn, New York. And I play vidges for entertainment as a living and for scraps. No, I am sponsored by my great sponsor, United Gaming League, UGL. And normally I would be touring the country, doing commentary gigs at various conventions across the country. The coup put the kibosh on that.
Welcome to the world we currently live in.
Yeah.
Can't complain as long as people is healthy.
But in the interim, since I can't travel, I learned video editing, so I've been putting out a couple of montage videos at least once a month.
Speaking of which, we will have a link to his Patreon and his YouTube in the not the comments.
Patron? Oh no! But yeah,
the
in the description.
Yeah, the description. Thank you. So, first question is,
see,
what is the thing that got you into fighting games? Was it a specific game or a character? The atmosphere? What hooked you?
Okay, so a lot of my memories are hazy because of a certain incident, which we'll talk about that's a story for another day. But what I can remember is the first fighting game that I played, had a grand old time with, was Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter was, I think, the first fighting game that I played and really took a shine to. There was a bunch of Street Fighter cabinets around, but like Virtua Fighter was the very first thing that I genuinely had like a lot of fun. And
right.
I started branching out and trying to find other things. Like then I got into Street Fighter, which is funny because the Street Fighter game that I had the most extensive like hands-on time at the time was Street Fighter, the movie, the game, the console version, which I don't care what anybody says, that game is functional and it works because it's just Super Turbo and everybody loves Super Turbo.
Hey, my opinion on fighting games, even if they're jank, if they're fun, who cares?
But yeah, like I genuinely love like fighting games are a passion for me. Like over the years, I've tried to branch out and play as many as possible because it's something I like to study and play at the same time.
And with fighting games, it's interesting because there's almost a limitless amount of learning and like just improvement you can do.
Absolutely. Like sky's the limit as long as you can get as long as you can grasp the core fundamentals of like the genre in general. Like once you grasp the core fundamentals of genre, like button spacing, frames, like not frames, like that's a little bit more on the technical side, but like if
godforsaken, the forbidden neutral.
Yeah, like button spacing, footsies, all the technical stuff for like the basics. Once you get a handle on that, then once you go about and try and learn different games, it's more about learning what makes each game tick more than what makes a fighting game tick at that point.
All right. Next question would be, I think I kind of know the answer, but what would you say your altogether top 3 games that you've played are for fighters? Obviously, the franchise rule applies.
Oh, you mean in terms of like of all time?
Yeah, your all-time top 3 like favorite.
Oh man.
We'll ask you eventually later about like your top 3 best you've ever competed in, because we'll get to the competitive side of it.
Okay, top 3 of all time. Okay. If we're doing franchises, number 1 hands down is the Rumblefish 2. No question. That game is my all-time. I love that game with a passion.
It's wild cuz I got introduced to Rumblefish through you, watching you play it, and like I'm not going to lie, visually I'm not saying it's janky, but it's the way it's animated is off.
Oh no,
it's not a bad thing.
It's absolutely jank. It's like tweening.
But I fucking love its style. I love the weird aspects of some of the characters, like fucking Lud's IK. Don't hurt my face, and I can fuck you up. If I remember correctly, it's like full meter, full his parry bar, right?
Yeah, you need full,
and his face can't be fucked up.
Yeah, and his face can't be messed up. Which is hilarious because there's a thing to heal his face that costs 2 defensive bugs. We'll talk about that. All
right, so number 2.
Number 2 is Neo Geo Battle Coliseum.
Definitely seen you play Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, and
that is my second favorite game.
It looks fun as fuck.
It is. It can get a little bit busted at times. Like I'm not gonna.
Hey,
sugarcoat
one of my
it.
all-time favorite fighting games is still SVC Chaos, and we know what that is.
Woo!
Because you already know the character I like in it.
Zero.
I'm a fucking Mega Man like fanboy. Of course I'm gonna play Zero. And Genjiro, obviously, but that's because Genjiro does mad fucking damage.
He does in every game he's in.
Well, absolutely.
Number 3.
Also, welcome back, Geeko.
Number 3 is hard to pin down because there are a lot of games that could fit that spot. But I think the game that I think resonates with me more, which a lot of people would probably be shocked at this. Actually, no. I say it's a tie. Between 2 games because my crew back in New York. My crew back home in New York know me for being very, very silly in both of these games. The first one, which is The King of Fighters 11. I love that game to death. And I love like how different KOF 11 decided to go. And it still felt like a KOF game. Like it's a beautiful looking game too. It's probably some of the best.
11 is the one with the judgment thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. And literally one of the most beautiful sprites ever fucking created, which is
Xion. Ooh.
Like I my personal taste aside, that sprite work is just phenomenal.
And tied with third is, and this is the one that's probably going to catch a lot of people off guard, Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
That's fair. Like you've said before, you like the older Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, like I like majority of Mortal Kombats that aren't 11.
11 was very polarizing. I get that. I mean, I can definitely say it wasn't for me. But to be fair, I'm not that big of a Mortal Kombat fan, so my opinion's probably a little invalid on that one.
But yeah, like those I think those are my go-tos.
All right. So we also have a question from Nero, and he's asking, do you personally think that fighting games should have tutorials that help people learn with learning the game instead of auto combos / nerfing gameplay?
I personally am of the mind that
And I will chime in on this too when you're done.
all right. I'm personally of the mind that the tutorial, if people want to see what a tutorial is in terms of should be, I think Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution is everybody should use that as the blueprint for tutorials in games. I don't think auto combo should. I don't think auto combo should be a thing. It's a bad crutch, and it teaches people very bad habits.
I can definitely see that. Like, my biggest issue with auto combo personally is I feel like it causes a lot of bad habits. Double tapping, weird fucking things with inputs. Plus, you see some of the games that have auto combo also are like they don't have DP motions or Z motions. It's weird. Because when I think of fighting games, one of the first two things I think about if it's a 2D fighter is your quarter circle and your Z motion. But that's just me.
I'm not a fan of simplifying inputs because simplifying inputs
I feel like
again teaches bad habits. But the only thing I genuinely think is the exception is if the game is centered around simplification, not like doing something, simplifying something that is legacy is. I disagree with that.
Wouldn't you say that would alienate the core older audience to cater more towards the casual audience that may not stick with the game?
Absolutely. Which is why a lot of people, this is why I personally think that Strive is probably one of, if not the most divisive games to come out in recent memory. Because I'm all for simplifying a game. That's fine. I am not for gutting a game when the complexity was what made the game, what was the identity of the game.
All right. Because with Strive for me, and you know me as a fucking absolute Guilty Gear fanboy. I mean, there's no denying that, but even Strive for me, I felt like I was too limited, and I didn't have as many avenues to learn or go about things with different routes or ideas. Like, I played Potemkin in Strive, and you have one go-to thing as Potemkin in Strive, and that's really it. And As jank as it sounds, just fucking Mega Fist. If that doesn't work, throw. That's it.
Which is unfortunate because, like, yeah, like there are many different, like, I mean, he has more moves, but why would you do them?
I sat in
You can just
Celestial
do
for 2
Garuda,
months.
but you could just do Garuda. Well, you could do Garuda, and if this, they block Garuda again. What's this? They got hit. Potemkin Buster.
Like, I sat in Celestial for
that.
2 months with literally Mega Fist, Garuda, throw. It was weird. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, Strive is an absolutely terrible game. As far as a fighting game goes, it's a fighting game. It sure as fuck ain't a Guilty Gear.
It's not a Guilty Gear. I don't, and like anybody that wants to tell me that it's a Guilty Gear game, I think you're a liar because the only Guilty Gear character in this Guilty Gear game is Jacko. So you're not catching me in this Genjutsu.
Which is fair. If people like it, good for them. I will not stop you from playing your game. That's definitely not what I want to do.
Absolutely.
Because I want more people to play fighting games.
That's definitely my stance. I'm not going to tell people don't play the game. What I am going to say is, what I am going to tell people, because I tell a certain somebody that's in my server this all the time. You knew the rules when you were playing. When you knew the rules when you decided to jump into this game. If you want to complain about it, you have no grounds to do so because you brought this on yourself.
It's funny because they're a really good player.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think I 100% like. I give her a lot of respect for like sticking with it.
Absolutely.
It couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
Shit, you stopped MK11 real fucking fast.
And then I was paid to go back in, and I said, "All right, cool, let's do this." And then the person that paid me even said, "Yeah, this is boring."
If a game can't like keep its audience, I don't know, man.
Okay.
Even KOF 15's looking like it's gonna be a solid King of Fighters.
Can't wait for that game to drop.
Like, it does seem like it's... Maybe this is just me. It definitely seems slower than 14. At least from what little KOF 14 knowledge I have. I'm not that good at the game, but I always want to learn more, but...
Seems less floaty, I'll give it that. Which is what I know a lot of people were complaining about.
Yeah. I can't really say for certain, obviously, because we'll have to wait until, what is it, like, in 2 weeks for the beta? Or a week? I don't remember.
No, it's at the tail end of November, right?
Maybe it's near the end of November, and I'm spacing.
Yeah, it's the tail end of November.
I could have sworn it launched at the same time as, like, Battlefield or something. No.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, I think it launches at the end of... Whatever. I'll look for the date later. I suppose let's talk about, for a while, you competed. Correct?
Indeed.
Same question as earlier applies. Your 3 favorite games that you competed in.
Well,
whether it be different than... or the same, obviously.
I think it pretty much is the same because Rumblefish 2, I enjoyed competing in Rumblefish 2 tournaments, and I definitely enjoyed competing in Dusty Knuckles because that one was streamed, so like that's on the internet forever. So, how much I genuinely love the game.
I fucking loved the people that booed the dude who picked him.
Ah, yes. Yes, yeah, that's if that's not a sign of community, I don't know what. I don't know.
Some may say it's a little savage, but you know what? You're picking the most busted fucking character in front of everybody.
Yeah, yeah, you did it for the W. I understand. Do what you gotta do to win, but like,
Come on, homie.
come on, man. Like,
It don't gotta be like that.
there are some lines that like are gonna like there's some lines that if you cross them, it's not morally wrong, but people are definitely gonna look at you sideways for until further notice. Battle Coliseum, I really enjoyed entering tournaments for that. I remember I want to say it was 17. I think it was 17. I was 17 and
All I remember is you played in some of the OG tournaments.
Yeah, I was 17 and I entered Evo East. Evo like this was the last year where Evo did like qualifiers in different regions in order to go to Evo. And I entered Battle Coliseum and KOF 11 at Evo East. I got second in KOF 11 and I got third in Battle Coliseum. And I was 17, so like that's something that I'm like super proud of.
Most I can say, man, is that I've gotten some really nice tournament wins in local con scenes, but that's small time.
A dub's a dub.
Oh, I'm not denying that.
I think like I wouldn't downplay your accolades. Like, hey man, like a local scene is still a scene that
I just want to go a little bit further, man. Which is fucking wild. Online tournaments are starting to look like a thing.
Well, in the age of, well, you know.
We know what it is.
It's kind of a necessity.
And with, as much as I don't like the fucking rollback dick riding, like, I can't deny tournaments on rollback are pretty nice.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'll gladly play a fun-ass game on delay-based netcode if I have to. Alright. And as you said, you also commentate.
Yes, I do. That is also something I genuinely enjoy doing.
Yeah, what's it like for you? Like, I personally never had the confidence or the complete knowledge set to be able to confidently commentate something.
Doing commentary is...
It's wild because there's so much on the fly.
Well, yes, absolutely. I think the hardest thing to do is solo commentary. Doing solo commentary is very difficult because you have to constantly be engaging at all times.
Yeah, so whereas duo comms, you can constantly bounce off of your partner.
Yeah. Like, if you don't know something, then the partner will definitely pick up the slack. Which is why me and Kaiser like normally have really good like chemistry whenever we do co-op commentary. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And personally, I've always liked duo commentary because you can have the one person who may not be the most knowledgeable of said game, but they can hype the fuck out of it while the other person throws out the info in the knowledge base.
Absolutely.
Imagine with that said, you are definitely like rearing to fucking get back out there though.
Yeah, I'm more sad at the fact that like
I know you were bummed being sick for the last one.
Yeah. That really, because like that was gonna be my only like paying gig for the year, and I kind of really needed the money.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple fucking years.
So, I really wanted to do. I really wanted to go.
Like, I barely got to fucking staff a convention this year, and it was fucking great. And I came home not sick for once, but
no con crud. Woo.
Whereas fucking coming home for my birthday, I fucking caught it. Woo.
I'm sorry.
Shit happens. I just think it's
But
funny. It
there's
was in
one
between
thing-
my shots.
Oof. But there's one thing I have to say that I think is hilarious is doing being able to do commentary for SNK. Like I never thought
Yeah, that was wild.
I never thought in a million years I would be working hand in hand with a company that I have followed since essentially '96.
Here's my question for that, though.
Yes.
How badly did you have to curb yourself?
Not too badly. The reason why is because whenever I do like a sanctioned event,
I mean, you're
especially
already
for, like,
hella fucking professional, so...
yeah, like when I'm doing like a sanctioned event for like UGL, when I have to do commentary under the UGL brand, I have to refrain from saying a lot of things.
Which is
And I've gotten
understandable.
used to it. Yeah, and I've gotten used to it to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm in commentator mode. I have to like refrain from dropping F-bombs, dropping the N-bomb. I can't use my normal rhetoric whenever I'm in the booth, more or less.
Yeah.
So just translating that to doing something that has corporate eyes on me, it's not that hard, and it's a lot more it's, I guess, a lot more fulfilling to do it and somehow stay positive about it. Because like there have been a handful of times where I've seen poor sportsmanship or like a poor play, and
God forbid somebody chucks a fucking pad.
well, no, I've never seen that happen. Not like none of
Oh,
the events that I've been to.
You are fucking lucky.
We've never had that problem. Of course, we
Homie.
also have not dealt with it. We don't really do Smash, so
Fair. As somebody who's had to host Smash tournaments, and I am definitely not saying they're all like this, but unfortunately, when you, as somebody who staffs conventions and staffs the gaming room, you take convention goers plus that scene, and that there's sometimes a major lack in hygiene, and it's rough. But mind you, that's not necessarily me saying it's the Smash players, because it's a fucking convention.
it's a con.
With 6,000, 8,000 fucking people, you're gonna find it. Which I think the one I just staffed like a week or two ago was like 5,000 something people. Which, relatively small, but considering the current situation, this is a good number.
But it's not doing commentary is fun, especially in games that I 100% am all in on. Like stuff for the KOF series.
Yeah, going back to the
Love
SNK
it.
stuff you did. That shit was wild. I remember watching that stream. You were geeking the fuck out the whole time. But it was good ass commentary.
I love like it's for the love of the game. It's for the love of the game and the love of the genre. That's my thing.
Absolutely. Next question is a mildly specific one because again,
Yes.
KOF 15 is literally around the fucking corner.
Yes.
We're at what? 33 of the 39 characters, or was it
39.
37?
Well,
39,
I don't think it's 39. 39 characters
Yeah.
in total. So.
What's your prediction on the last 6 if you had to go off the cuff?
Well, I'm genuinely surprised that Kim hasn't shown up. This is probably like if Kim does not show up, this is gonna be probably one of like I think that alone is gonna make this the most decisive KOF.
Maybe they're worried about getting his pants right.
Yeah.
Rip Kim's
Like
pants.
I know that's a meme. I know that's a meme for a lot of people, but like
it was interesting to see, and I'm not saying the 3D was bad because it's not. It's really fucking good for what they did.
Especially considering it was in-house.
Yeah. And God forbid, fucking what 13 pretty much did to the company.
I genuinely hope that Kim shows up because it doesn't feel like KOF.
To say we don't have anybody that's like the Taekwondo rep in 15 at the moment, do we?
Nope.
Which is strange.
Actually, now that I think about it, we don't have any of the Koreans at all.
Yeah, they got to be coming up. They have to be.
Just oh man,
maybe
so
some
weird.
of the Garo reps.
I would like for Kim. I would like for Kim's sons to make an appearance.
It'd be wild seeing him again, especially when we have the Garo costume for Terry. Just saying. Throw a little bit more fan service our way. Like with Team Rival, Hyder, Dolores, and
Shuna. I mean, not Shuna, Issa.
With those 3 characters and being Team Rival, I'm honestly hoping for Regal at this point.
It has to be either Regal or Adon. It's one of the two. It has to be one of them.
And we all know Damien wants Yamazaki to make another return. It definitely would be nice. Personally, I want to see Shinwoo. But if not, I'd be pretty happy seeing Elizabeth pop back in. Or
I genuinely think Lizzie is going to be the one to lead to like round out like whatever team Ash is on. Because I'm going to bet. I'm willing to bet that the team is going to be Ash, Kukri, and Elizabeth. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. It doesn't make sense for Elizabeth not to show up since she shows up when Kukri collects Ash's body. So
yeah, no. And I honestly forgot about that scene. I gotta go through more of the KOF 14 endings, damn it. Maybe try to do some of that the week before, like, launch or something. Or at least watch him, do something. Show off, KOF in general.
Mm.
Alright. Another question.
See, yes.
As we know, you've played a fuck ton of fighting games.
Yes, indeed, I have.
What would you say some of your absolute, maybe worst matchups or worst fucking characters to deal with? Not completely necessarily in the sense of, oh, they're OP as fuck, so they're hard to fight. But like,
okay,
just characters in general you struggle with, like fucking Zafina.
Zafina is definitely up there. She's, I think, the second.
I can't fucking read her.
All the characters I have to deal with, Zafina is the second. The first is Katana. I cannot for the life of me stand her. I cannot stand Katana in any iteration. I can't stand her in 2. I can't stand her in Ultimate. I can't stand her in Trilogy. I can't stand her in DA. I can't stand her in Armageddon. I can't stand her in NK versus DC at all. I can't stand her in 9. I damn sure can't stand her in X. Character infuriates me.
Oh, MK versus DC. I'm glad I never touched that.
Third Strike Oro gives me a hard time because of how weird his like hurt and hitbox is. So I get blown up. By.
I mean, Oro in general is just fucking scary because isn't he like just mix-ups?
Yeah, more or less. Mind games.
Mix-ups, mind games. Yeah.
That's why Dino's Oro constantly beats me.
I gotta play more Third Strike. Fucking more Ken and fucking Hugo in my life, man.
And for the longest time, I think Daimon was hard. Daimon was hard for me to deal with because of how menacing he is as a character.
He's impressive for a grappler. Like, Daimon is legitimately hella impressive. You can be full screen away from him and he can still have control.
Good times.
I'm trying to think, like... I know Zafina's up there for me, because I
can't stand trying to...
How do you fucking read that? She has lows that look like they're going high. I understand, once you memorize shit, it's probably a little easier, but like... Fucking Zafina. Hanzo and Samurai Showdown's kind of a fucking pain in the ass for me. But that's also because I might be a little dumb. I fall for Fireball into throw way too often. It's literally, anytime I'm expecting throw, I'm getting hit by a heavy slash. Anytime I'm expecting heavy slash, I'm getting fucking Azuna dropped. And as weird as this is gonna fucking sound, Sean.
Yeah.
But Kaz, he's not even a good character. Man, I get basketballs thrown at me and I get confused, okay? Because literally, I see a basketball, I'm expecting that dash in. Am I wrong to expect that half the time? And I think another good question, what would you say to newbies struggling in fighting games or just having trouble in general, either getting into them or sticking with it? Rock. The last question I asked was, what sort of advice or stuff could you say to a new player that is either struggling to continue or just like frustrated with something? You know, the struggles of learning a fighting game, I suppose.
Okay.
Shit.
My number one advice is do not go in expecting to win. Do not expect the wins to come in. Focus on getting your special moves consistent, and then you can step your game up to do basic combos, and then intermediate combos, and then advanced combos.
Fair. So basically, go to the lab. If you do it right, basically, don't go in expecting a win and just lab work.
Absolutely.
Fair.
Indeed.
And
But yes,
Oh,
I
sorry,
genuinely think that like your main focus whenever you're first getting into a fighting game is to look for things that look,
fair.
because things that the player themselves think looks cool will motivate them to try and find ways to use this cool thing with minimal risk.
Plus, you know, God forbid you go in thinking you're gonna main one character and come out maining a completely different character. Correct?
Absolutely. Ugh. Absolutely. I mean, getting electrics took a long time.
That's funny considering. Electrics are fucking hard, man.
Electrics are hard. And here I am, Tekken 7, getting electrics like it's nothing. But it's a long road. It's a long road to get to proficiency.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have any closing remarks or anything else you'd like to maybe talk about or just explain?
I do, actually. People that are intimidated. People that are intimidated by this genre. I understand.
Hey,
I
fighting
know-
games are
I
hard.
know-
I get that.
I know how you feel. I too was once in that spot. But what you need to do is yes, it is difficult, but think about all the things that you enjoy doing. Nothing you did was easy the first go around.
Oh, absolutely. Like, different example, different genre. Rating in FF14. Shit's fucking hard. We do literally fucking 4.5 hours of fucking progression just to learn the raid twice a fucking week for like a month straight. Just to be able to clear it once a fucking week. Obviously, that's more team-oriented, but still. There's still learning on everyone's part, like, and definitely intimidating. At least I can personally see similarities to it.
But also a thing that a lot of people don't want to admit to is the fact that another reason why a lot of people would rather play the team-based game instead of the fighting game is because if it's a team-based thing, you can always shift the blame on something else.
Of course.
Yourself.
And in my many years of raiding, I've definitely seen that. In a fighting game, if you fuck up, there's only one person to blame. And you can sit there and use the excuse, oh, the tier list, my character, the matchup. No, at the end of the day, and I'm gonna fucking say it, and some people might disagree with this, the tier list does not fucking matter. Panda. Am I wrong?
Nah, you dead on the money. But it's been a long journey to get from just a kid with some quarters in his pocket at an arcade to
the most devastating thing I remember about the arcades, though. When that shit went from a couple fucking quarters to $1 a play. I don't know how your arcades ended up being, but...
the arcade was very, I mean, now it's still an arcade. It's just, like, like, the atmosphere definitely has changed.
Yeah.
I miss the arcade.
I'm not gonna lie, I miss some of the savagery of the days of the fucking arcade. Like, there seemed to be more respect. But that's a whole different argument and a whole different discussion, because then we could go on the whole, oh, you can say whatever you want on the internet, but I'm not getting into that. Damn, that's really 10 extra damage?
You got that right.
Why wouldn't you go for the second electric?
But at the end of the day, do what you do out of personal gratification. Don't do it out of obligation.
Absolutely. Hey, getting paid to do something's nice, but, like, enjoying it as well. That's hella important, at least in my eyes.
Absolutely. No question. Definitely hit the nail on the head there.
Whoops.
Yeah, look at them EWGFs. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's the second one that's a bitch for me, though. Okay, I got that far. But, I don't know. For me, fighting games is all... bleh. Can't be a fucking cast podcast without a fucking failure to speak. Fighting games have always been about, can I learn? Oh no, I lose. Whoop-de fucking do. Yeah, sometimes losses fucking suck. I'm not even gonna fucking front. But like, at the end of the day, you can cut it the fuck off, come back to it later, and work more on it. Hell, you can quit for the day because you're on a loss streak and study what you know, because most fighting games now have some form of replay. So you can go back and study whatever you fucked up on. You know. Oh no, I got the shit kicked out of me by Joe fucking Smo tier list whore, whatever you want to call him. But you can go back and look at that, and you might find, oh hey, I'm using this move too much. Maybe I should do this. Or, you know, there's always another route. But as far as video game genres go, I've never seen any other genre, honestly, with as much depth and freedom as fighting games, really. And I personally I personally want to see more fighting games and more people play them. And I imagine you have a very similar sentiment on that. And yeah, that was the interview with Mr. Rockaway Carter. And like I said, we are going to have his infos in the description. So if you liked what you saw, well, listen to, I guess. We'll have the info for Rockaway Carter. My info, obviously, but I mean, if you found the fucking podcast, you probably already have half of this info.
Yay!
And we'll catch the podcast again on the last day of the next fucking month. I'm gonna do monthly 30th. For now, as these are about an hour long and I'm still getting used to this. Eventually, when I'm more confident with this, we might shift it to twice monthly and eventually maybe weekly. I know Kaiser does them weekly.
Yep.
I don't think I have that in me just yet, but we'll see. Personally, interviewing somebody, this was fucking fun. I've never done this before, and this is all off the top of my head, but provided I find somebody as a guest for the next one, we may do another one we may do an extra one in November, but I might get a chance to interview Kaiser and fucking Rudder. We'll figure something out. But because fighting games, man, I don't give a fuck who you are, whether you enjoy watching them, playing them, or you're just a purveyor of that glorious thing that is called salt. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of it. There's no denying it. It's part of, honestly, at this point, it's pretty much part of the FGC, isn't it, Rock?
Yeah. Salt is plentiful. And
I'm all for a little bit of salt here and there. I'm not even going to deny that. But this has been Deathwish Dinner Theater. I told you we kept the fucking name for something. Don't shoot me. There was a plan. Just slow going. And catch us in the next fucking podcast whenever it is uploaded. Either in the middle of the month or at the end of the month. I don't know.
I look forward to it.
Peace.
See ya.